How are you?
Doing great. What can we answer for you?
So as you're getting closer to TCU, is this the time of year that you kind of like? Is game prep is now here, and you're able to let's focus on somebody else's defense and let's work on that.
Yeah, I mean, each phase of the year has its unique, special things about it, right? We do all this training all year round. We build a team, and every single day matters. But there's 12 Saturdays that count, and now we're turning the page to the ones that truly count, right? And so we're 11 days out from playing a really good opponent. We think we got a really good team, and it should be a great matchup.
Do you like starting games with a fairly set script, or are you more loose about it?
I'm more of a feel guy. I'm not been into scripting. I've done that one time in the past 12 years, and it didn't work out so well. So, especially early on in the season where they have new pieces, right? They're adjusting to new personnel, and you got to get a feel for how pieces on the chessboard are moving and playing out, and then be able to adapt and get you the answers that you need to based off the problems that they're presenting.
That begs a follow-up. When was the one time, and how did it go awry?
It was very early on, and it was not great, and there was a lot of punts involved. And just saying that four-letter word hurts my heart, so it's not good.
What's your philosophy as far as play calling? How would you self-describe?
Go fast, be efficient, stay on schedule. With the teams that we're going to play and how well, defensive coordinators are able to scheme, you start getting those third and long situations because you're not efficient on first and second down, and life gets pretty hard, right? So, we want to, again, create space for our speed. We want to work and find ways to create a numerical advantage. And then if all those things are going to be even, then we want to create leverage, right, so that we can outflank and take away the edge of the defense. But again, the biggest thing is the kids following their rules conceptually, again, early on, where they're going to have some new things that we haven't seen on tape that are going to be unique for us, but we have to be able to apply our rules in those situations and then stay on schedule and be efficient so that we're not playing behind the chains.
Is that a skill you can practice?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think Coach does a great job setting us up for situational football, right? We get a bunch of normal down and distance opportunities. This past week, like in the scrimmage, we had 43 third down opportunities, and we were 50% on that, which would have put us 9th in the country, right, based off last year's numbers, right? So we're always tracking that. We're always aware of that, and we really pride ourselves on our kids growing their situational awareness and their self-awareness, right? So that how we can stay on schedule, how we can stay on task, and just treat practice like a game each and every single day, right? Be purposeful about that so that when we get down to Fort Worth, even though, yeah, collectively it's our first time doing it together, but our mindset, our purpose, our intensity, our focus should be the same today as it is 11 days from now.
Van Wells mentioned that your offense is going to go as fast as the offensive line.
Yeah.
Where is that group? Is it similar to how you had it humming at Kent State, or is that still kind of a work in progress?
It's kind of a wait and see. I love their approach. I love the way that they're going, but you really don't know what you have until you're testing it, until you're in the live fire, right, as you're doing it. But I love the way that they are seeing the game through the same set of eyes. The 5 guys that we've settled in on, they do a great job communicating, right? And so them seeing it through the same set of eyes, the fronts, the changes, the backers moving and everything, and the way that Shador communicates with them so that they're on the same page and making the proper mic IDs, right? Then that allows us to play fast and to do what we need to do. But yeah, he's 100% right? Like, we can only go as fast as those guys are up and ready to play. And they're doing a great job with that.
You mentioned the scrimmage the other day. Did you see the jump you wanted to from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2?
Not necessarily a huge jump, right? I believe in incremental gains, and Coach always talks about 2% improvement. And, we have a belief of improving and competing each and every single day. And I saw those things, right? There was things that we obviously need to clean up, and there was some really, really good stuff as well. But, the things that we can control, right, is that's our number one factor in terms of how we're going to win, right? Great teams don't beat themselves, right? So the Colorado Buffaloes can't beat the Colorado Buffaloes regardless of who the opponent is. And we did a much better job in controlling those things from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. So that was great to see.
What have you seen from TCU on film so far, and what do you like about how your guys match up?
Yeah, again, going off of all last year's tape, right, and everything, they're an aggressive, fast flow defense. They do a great job playing with mixed fronts, and they force your guys up front to be on the same page. But again, I like our competitive nature. I like the way that we match up across the board, and again, I like our desire to get better and to go compete each and every single day. And our guys are going to be excited to go play.
Kind of along those lines, TCU, can maybe watch Kent film, they can maybe watch personnel, Jackson State or wherever, but they can't watch you guys. Is there any tactical advantage to that, especially early in the game, you might be able to take advantage of?
Maybe, that's probably a better question for Joe Gillespie and Sonny Dykes, right? But week 1, no matter where you're at, whether it was year 5 at Kent State or year 1 here, right, there's always some element of chasing ghosts, right? And what you're going to see philosophically, there's things that people put their stakes in the ground with, but the same way that we challenge our kids to improve and compete on a daily basis, I think the best coaches in this business, right, they're lifelong learners. So they probably went and did some professional development, and they probably talked to some people, and they probably had some wrinkles, that again we're going to have to adjust to as they move through, because that's what great coaches do. And Coach Dykes and Coach Gillespie, their staff, they do a heck of a job.
Coach, how would you describe the tight end's role in your offense?
Critical, right? They're asked to do a lot. They're kind of the transformers of the offense, right? Sometimes they got to flex out, be a wide receiver. Sometimes they're in the core of the formation, and they got to add an extra hat to their run game, right? Other times they're going to be back as a fullback. So we put a lot on their plate, and they're an indispensable piece of what we're going to do.
Coach, obviously, when people think tempo, they think passing.
Sure.
But I know the run game is a huge part of your offense. And
Yeah.
can you describe how vital it is, but also how valuable it is to have such a diverse set of backs?
Yeah.
Dylan Edwards to Alton McCoskell.
Yeah,
Like that.
absolutely, right. I think you need to be balanced in your approach, right? And if you don't have the ability to have, a strong right hook with a counter as well, whether it be run or pass, whatever your strength is, then you get too one-dimensional, right? And it's very hard if you're just going to throw the ball to throw it into drop 8, right? It doesn't matter how many guys you can release, they're not going to have that numerical advantage, right? So you have to be able to have a physicality, have a presence to run the ball, and then just selfishly, I want Coach Alvarez to pick up my call every now and again, right? So he doesn't take my my alumni card because we don't run power, right? So we're going to still do that.
And that diverse set of backs.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very talented, right? Top to bottom, each of them has a unique skill set. They all bring something different to the table, and it's kind of almost like a spice rack, right? You don't want a spice rack of just all salt, just all sugar. They all bring a little something different to the recipe, which makes us and allows us to create something special.
Since DeJour has arrived here, we've heard how much of an elite quarterback he is. How do you feel like he's grown through camp and just working with him one-on-one?
Yeah, I really think his biggest strides has been as a more vocal leader, right? He's done a tremendous job of learning the offense and knowing not only his role, but how everything else fits together, almost like the conductor of the symphony, right? He's got to tie it all together. So now that he has a great understanding of what he's supposed to do and what the people are supposed to do around him, he's really grown in his confidence and leading in a positive manner to bring the guys along to know the vital role that each one of them play.
Have you determined yet who the backup quarterback's going to be, or is that still an ongoing competition?
Still up in the air.
Coach, is Shedeur driving the offense as fast as you want it, or would you like to go faster?
No, he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job.
If something were to happen to Shedeur, are you comfortable with somebody else going in there? Or is
Yeah,
that still
absolutely.
work? Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. I think that's where across the board, each one of our position coaches in all three phases, right, we pride ourselves on next man up mindset, right? And I know, it's been said a lot, one of my quotes, and the guys joke with me all the time, so what now what? Right? So no matter what the situation is, okay, so what now what? We got to go. Obviously, there's a reason QB1 is QB1, right? But we got to do a great job, developing the guys that are behind them and making sure that we have answers and a plan if one of those guys has to go in.
Have you seen Staub take that step from being here this spring to now?
Yeah, you could see his maturation, his comfort level, again, just settling into the speed of the college game. And then again, familiarity with playing fast and all that we ask our quarterbacks to do. So he's taking some good strides as well.
How much has your excitement level grown just in the weeks, just knowing that game week is right around the corner?
It really hasn't. I mean, that's a boring answer, right? But each day to me is game day, right? And the only thing that I can control is the present and to be here and serve my guys, right? So for us to ask the kids to treat each and every single day like game day, right? That's what I'm going to do. And if anything else, my excitement level and my energy, so to speak, or whatever, goes the opposite direction. Because if I'm not stoic on game day to make good, clean decisions, if I'm making emotional decisions, I just don't believe that you make good decisions when you're emotional, right? So I'm going to remain stoic and treat each day like it, so that again, when the kids look to us as a staff, right, we have to exude that standard to them, because if we change come game day, or we change now because it's game week, then the kids are going to look at us like, well, what we've been talking about, right, ever since spring ball and everything's been rolling. So sorry for the boring answer, but no, we're going to be us, and I'm going to be me. So that's it. Awesome. Thanks, guys.